All right, let's dive right in. What is the actual secret formula to massive success? It's a question we've all obsessed over, right? But what if I told you there's an actual historical secret to massive wealth, like a specific formula that literally built the fortunes of over 500 of the wealthiest leaders of the early 20th century? We're talking titans of industry, people whose empires weren't just built on elbow grease, but on a very specific kind of collaboration. It all traces back to a secret uncovered by Andrew Carnegie, which was then rigorously studied. Today we're going to break down exactly what that secret is, and far more importantly, how you can use it right now. So back in 1937, Napoleon Hill, the guy who spent 20 years studying Carnegie's network of millionaires, identified this incredible concept. He said, "No two minds ever come together, without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third invisible mind." Just think about that for a second. When you bring the right minds together in perfect harmony, you literally unlock this new invisible force. You tap into thoughts, solutions, and energy that you just couldn't access on your own. It's wild, and it totally lays the philosophical groundwork for everything we're exploring today. Welcome to The Explainer. Today our focus is the mastermind, from Carnegie's secret to the modern toolkit. And our goal here is incredibly practical. We're going to take this really powerful, almost mystical historical philosophy of the third invisible mind and bridge it directly to a highly actionable modern toolkit. We'll show you exactly how to build and leverage this same historical secret in your own life today. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the origins in the invisible third mind, then look at a modern example called the sustainable sisterhood. From there, we'll get into the concrete blueprint with finding your common purpose, laying down the rules of engagement, and finally, running the ultimate mastermind. Let's jump right in. Section 1. The invisible third mind, overcoming the isolation of leadership. Because let's face it, the truth is, solo leadership and striving for success, it can be an incredibly lonely journey. This historical secret was designed specifically to cure that isolation.
So what exactly is it? Well, a mastermind group is an intimate group of peers working toward common goals who meet regularly to share goals, work through challenges, offer advice, and discuss what actually works. This takes Brooke Ritchie-Babbage's modern super-effective definition and blends it with Napoleon Hill's historical concept of a mastermind alliance. It is not just networking. No, it is a dedicated brain trust. It's a space where leaders get ongoing access to fresh ideas, fierce accountability, and real thought partnership.
But for a mastermind to actually work, it requires these specific psychological engines, a curated selection of Napoleon Hill's 17 principles of personal achievement. First, you need a definiteness of purpose, like a crystal clear reason for being there. You need the mastermind alliance itself, fueled by applied faith and teamwork. And crucially, a positive mental attitude. Success attracts success, right? When a group brings these specific traits to the table, that harmonious cooperation becomes a priceless asset. Moving to Section 2, the sustainable sisterhood, a modern mini-narrative. Let's pivot away from those industrial-era steel magnets for a minute and look at an intimate, totally modern application of these exact same principles. About 7 years ago, leadership coach Brooke Ritchie-Babbage started getting together with 6 other amazing women. They were all nonprofit executive directors in New York City, but they came from completely different backgrounds: lawyers, actors, artists, and they were leading very different organizations. Yet they met every single month for breakfast for 7 years. Through emotional support, workshopping challenges, and sharing resources, they each underwent just extraordinary personal and leadership transformations. They completely proved the incredible longevity and power of these groups. The really crucial takeaway here is that a true mastermind forces you to check your unknown unknowns, those blind spots you didn't even realize you had. Having a group of people you trust with your failures provides massive mental stabilization. It just makes you braver. When you have a collective sharing the emotional and strategic load, your work becomes, as Brooke puts it, exponentially more sustainable. We truly are stronger together than we are alone. Absolutely crucial. Section 3. Finding your common purpose. Diving into the toolkit. So let's transition from the why to the how, starting with where you actually need to begin. We're drawing heavily here from Brooke Ritchie-Babbage's 2021 Mastermind Toolkit. It's a fantastic, incredibly concrete blueprint for unleashing the power of the collective. It strips away all the historical theory and gives you the literal step-by-step required to turn these high-level philosophical ideas into a reality for your own career or business. Forming a mastermind really boils down to 3 core steps. Identify a common purpose, choose your people, and agree on principles of engagement. It all begins with step 1. You're embarking on a code journey, And it is absolutely critical that everyone shares a common understanding of why the group is meeting. Whether it's because you all hold the same job title or you just share a broader goal of professional accountability, everyone has to be on the exact same page. No exceptions.
Once your purpose is set, you choose your people. The ideal group size is 5 to 8 people. That's kind of the sweet spot for diversity of thought, but keeping that intimate focus. But here is a strict rule. Never include people you work with. Seriously. You need absolute objectivity and psychological safety, which is nearly impossible to achieve if you have reporting dynamics or daily office politics mixed in.
Section 4. Rules of engagement. Creating the culture. Because getting the right people in the room is really only half the battle. Now we need the shared values and psychological safety to actually keep the group bound together over the long haul.
There's a really common misconception out there that a mastermind is just a networking group. But where networking is transactional and competitive, it's about trading business cards and seeing what you can get, a mastermind is the complete opposite. It requires mutual support and a spirit of yes. Members literally have to completely eschew competition. If you have a resource, you share it. You are all in it together.
To guarantee that culture, the toolkit lays out these 5 mandatory bedrock principles of engagement. First, you have to show up, and that means not just physically, but psychologically. You must be real. Being honest about your mess-ups is just as important as celebrating your wins. You adopt a spirit of yes. You must maintain an orientation towards action, meaning this isn't just a venting session. Every meeting should push someone to take real action in their life. And finally, total confidentiality. What happens in mastermind stays in mastermind. Trust builds over time for sure, but only if the space is utterly safe.
Section 5. Running the ultimate mastermind, the meeting blueprint. Let's look at the literal, practical mechanics of structuring and running your get-togethers, so they don't just fizzle out after a month.
The cornerstone of an effective mastermind is consistency, meeting regularly, ideally monthly. The setting is absolutely critical too. It needs to be conducive and comfortable. Think a local cafe, a restaurant, or someone's home. But again, a strict rule: never a participant's office. You want a space where everyone feels equal, relaxed, and where confidentiality is easily maintained, away from the daily grind.
A typical mastermind agenda looks a bit like this. You start with an opening, just brief updates on the highs and lows of the past months. Then you move into the most important part, the hot seat. 1 or 2 people take the floor to share a critical challenge, and the entire collective mind focuses solely on giving them feedback and resources. After that, a goal check-in on past progress, and finally, next steps, where everyone identifies at least one goal for future accountability. It's structured, it's paced, and it's incredibly effective. To keep that agenda moving, especially in slightly larger groups of 6 to 8 people, you really need a division of labor. Assigning key roles helps maintain momentum. A facilitator handles the logistics, coordinates those hot seats, and keeps the agenda on track. A note-taker ensures that the brilliant ideas, goals, and shared resources aren't just forgotten the moment the meeting ends. These roles can totally rotate, but having them ensures the group stays professional and purposeful.
But the crucial point here is that a mastermind is not just a once-a-month event. The magic continues between meetings. Create a dedicated, private communication stream, like a Slack channel, a Google group, or even a simple text chain. A true mastermind alliance offers counsel, reviews documents, and provides thought partnership in real time all month long. Your network instantaneously grows exponentially because suddenly their network becomes your network. It's a real game changer.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer, with a final thought to leave you with. As history and modern practice both clearly prove, nobody achieves greatness entirely alone. You need that collective power. You need to tap into the unknown unknowns. So look at your own circle, your own goals, and ask yourself, who is your invisible third mind? It's time to go out there and build your own powerful collective. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into the Mastermind Toolkit.